We are so grateful to our donors for allowing us to care for so many kids. So tonight we've asked 6 wonderful children to join us so you, our donors, can be in their shoes, in their families' shoes, and express our gratitude to you and show you the wonderful work that you've invested in. One child came to us last year, a special child. She is from Tanzania. Her parents had passed away of AIDS. And because she's albino, witch doctors sent attackers into her uncle's home and took one of her legs and 2 of her fingers, while her sister, another albino, watched along. Ivanna is a special girl. Her sister stayed with her throughout her recovery in Tanzania, and the UN sent a photographer over to document these atrocities happening to albinos. And once that photographer came back, he told us that story, reached out to others in Los Angeles, and we brought Ivanna here. She is thriving now. She is fearless. She is a friend of so many of us at this institution. Yvonne, with her bright red hair. She's 4 years old now. She was born with severe scoliosis. Her heart is displaced. She is missing 3 ribs, and her breathing is constricted. And her parents came here to Los Angeles to another institution for help, but because of the severity of the scoliosis, they couldn't do the work. They turned to OIC, and we are able to do that work. We are going through a series of stage surgeries with her right now. We have a halo inserted into her head 15 hours a day to open up her back a bit before surgery. She likes to tell me, "Miguel, this is my corona de princesa," her princess crown. Your premature baby has just come home after several days in the NICU. You live in the West Side. You have a great family support network. Your husband is out of town, and all of a sudden you realize your newborn is in pain. Mom rushed Golden to the hospital at UCLA Santa Monica Medical Center, went into that ER, and called her husband. And Dad made some phone calls too to figure out what should be done, and said to Mom, "Whatever you do, don't let anyone else touch Golden other than Mauricio Silver, the orthopedic surgeon who's on call." And literally within minutes, Mauricio pulled that curtain back, introduced himself. Mom collapsed into his arms and said, "Thank God you're here." Golden was rushed into the emergency department. We saved her leg, and very likely we saved her life. She is thriving. Imagine delivering your first child, the joy and happiness that comes with that, and then being told within minutes that your daughter doesn't have shin bones. Yvonne was born with this rare genetic disease that had no bones below her knees. Mom sought help from doctors in Mexico where they're from, and they told her to prepare her life in a wheelchair. She really didn't want to do that for her daughter. She heard about our clinic in Mexicali. She saw our surgeons there. Mom wanted nothing but the best for her daughter. So the doctors at OIC explained to her that there was an alternative: to amputate those legs, to give her prosthetics and real mobility. Originally from 3 to 5, she had these peg legs, but last month, Yvonne, now 5, got her new state-of-the-art legs with ankles and knees, and she is doing tremendously well. We have a young woman under our care right now. Her name is Lizeth. She had pain in her femur at school one day and didn't really understand what it was. Mom and Dad got her to the emergency department. X-rays were taken, then a biopsy was done on a tumor they found on her femur. And then those worst words you can imagine a parent heard your child has cancer. To compound her problem and her family's problem, Lizeth was uninsured. Fortunately, an oncologist in Nevada knew about OIC, and particularly our bone cancer surgeon, Dr. Nick Bernthal. Just a few years ago, standard treatment of care for a child like Lizeth would be amputation and chemotherapy. Because of our expertise, because of the donors who helped fund our work, we were able to save her limb. On May 1st, 2016, Lizeth was diagnosed cancer-free. Our Center for Sports Medicine sees many different types of sports injuries. And one day, this young man from the Valley was playing basketball with his friends, and Kadar fell down, and he injured his knee. Mom rushed him to the hospital, where he was diagnosed with a broken kneecap. But because of his health insurance product, he's underinsured, the hospital wouldn't cast him and sent him back to his primary care to find someone else who would. He came here the next day on a Friday afternoon, and within minutes, the staff, the nurse practitioners, the physicians inside our urgent care center diagnosed a far greater injury than a broken kneecap. It's called compartment syndrome, and it's blood that clots underneath the injury that constricts blood flow to the rest of the limb. In many cases, it is limb-threatening, and even there are documented cases of it being life-threatening. We put Mom and Kadar in the Paramount Aussie shuttle, took them to UCLA Santa Monica Hospital, where Dr. Scaduto was scrubbed in and ready to save that young man's leg. We did. He's doing well, and soon enough, he'll be back on that basketball court. But I do want to tell you, just because we like to be transparent here at OIC, the day after surgery, when Dr. Scaduto visited him and looked down at that wound, he looked down too. Many would turn away. He didn't. He looked right down. But he did lodge a verbal patient complaint. He looked at his mother, he looked back at Dr. Scaduto and said, "You shaved my leg?"
Now, imagine a place where kids of all backgrounds receive the help they need to grow well and play well. That place is Orthopaedic Institute for Children, fondly known as OIC, to provide outstanding care to children with orthopedic conditions and injuries, and to make that care possible worldwide through medical education and scientific research. Throughout its history, OIC has always been about standing for kids. From our early days of pioneering the treatment of polio to today, where we address the lack of access to orthopedic care for children. The new Ambulatory Surgery Center in downtown Los Angeles is a place where all children, regardless of their ability to pay, will receive better access and better care.
Thank you, OIC, for everything you have done and will do for the children and the families who come here.
Thank you, OIC.
Thank you, OIC.
Thank you, OIC.
On behalf of my daughter, Golden, we want to say thank you so much, OIC.
Now we ask you to take the opportunity to do something significant for kids. Kids who need our help to walk, run, stand tall, grow well, and play well. Here is your opportunity to stand for kids.